Yeah. This pod is riveting.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get started. Let's go.
Spectrum is green.
The Gerry Anderson Podcast with Jamie Anderson, Richard James, and Chris Dale.
Welcome to Season 2 of the Gerry Anderson
not
Podcast.
Season 2.
Following last week's thrilling finale, in which I almost died of some bizarre radiation sickness.
Yeah, how you got that in Slough, I shall never know.
Yes, you've seen the toilets.
You've been
No, I mustn't say that. I mustn't say it because we're so well looked after here at the Moxie Hotel in Slough.
at our secret base, which is
Our
not very
secret base.
secret, yes.
That's right.
Yes, we are very grateful and very lucky to be here.
And the toilets, as you previously mentioned, are wonderful.
They are pristine.
They are. They
Yes.
are excellent, as is everything else about this wonderful hotel.
Anyway, we need to stop talking about the toilets. I, think
I
it's
know,
a bit
yes, I'm
weird.
sorry.
Because this is not the Gerry Anderson Bogcast. It is the Gerry Anderson Podcast. You see what I did there?
That was very good.
Thank you. I'm Jamie Anderson.
I'm Richard James.
And over there,
Oh, Chris Dale and his...
Randomiser.
Oh, an amazing randomiser, I was going to say.
Okay. Sorry.
That's right, yes, he'll be joining us a little later on to watch a random episode from a random Gerry Anderson series and give us his thoughts and comments with a guest who will press the button and then disappear to leave him alone to watch the series.
Yeah, so they can't take any credit for the choice, even though you often give them credit for the choice.
Yeah, but they press the button, which I think is nice of them.
Meh.
Well, they needn't do that, need they?
No, but it's not a lot of effort.
It's what's quite odd, though, is explaining to our guests what the premise is and why we're asking them to do that.
Unless they're a listener.
They might well be. They mostly aren't. But
yeah.
they might well be. Anyway, Season 2, what do we have to look forward to in this brand new sparkling season? Of
Well, it's all changed.
That's it.
Everything's changed for season 2.
New cast,
Yeah.
new directors.
If you thought you knew what was coming,
Yeah,
you
then
are
you-
completely wrong.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
What have we changed?
Well, we're starting season 2 with part 2 of an interview, which is a bit weird.
I suppose so.
Starting halfway through.
Yes.
We're starting with a fact which is probably fab.
This is sounding pretty familiar.
Can't really guarantee it.
Right.
There's a few emails and comments.
If
from
there's some news as well,
people
I'm
who
going to start thinking that this is
listen.
pretty much the same as the last
What do you want,
series.
olds instead? I mean,
Okay.
there'll be some brand new information about happenings in the world of Gerry Anderson.
Right. But pretty much it's the same as the last series.
Yeah, it's the same old nonsense.
Will there be a box set of that first season, do you think?
Is anyone going to buy it?
No.
It's like that 94 disc set of Crossroads, isn't it? Actually, people love that.
Oh, gosh, yes. I know people
Matthew
on Twitter
Sweet
all
will
about
buy
it. Matthew Sweet will be all over it.
Ah, lovely Matthew Sweet. Anyway, yes, that's all the stuff, isn't it? We've said it
That's
all.
it. We've introduced ourselves. You told us what's coming up. Time for a Fab Fact.
Right, all right, Fab Facts.
Now, time for this week's Fab Facts.
Yes, it's just Fab Facts, basically.
Yeah.
We've got a
Yeah.
Fab Facts book.
Yeah.
I flick through it.
Right.
You just don't even shout Fab, just say
Just
it.
mumble it.
Yeah, just mumble Fab.
Right.
I'll sort of fumble my way through the book and
Yeah.
read a Fab Fact. And,
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, fine. Yeah,
all
let's
right?
do it. Yeah, just go for it. Whatever.
All right,
yeah.
here you go then.
Yeah. Fab.
No, I don't even like that
Oh,
one.
I said Fab. I said
Oh,
so
sorry.
quietly you missed
sorry.
it.
Because you mumbled.
Well, you told me to mumble.
Well, let's hope
Yes.
that your mumbling hasn't delivered us a rubbish Fab Fact.
Why is it my fault?
Because you mumbled. Anyway,
Yes.
in the tome of Fab Facts this week,
Tome.
Richard,
Since when is it a tome?
it's always been a tome, Richard, from the tome,
Yeah.
I am going to become the font of all knowledge. Don't laugh. At least this amazing tome of Fab Facts is going to be.
Okay. So you're not going to be.
No,
Right.
but I'm going to channel it.
You're the conduit.
I'm the conduit of all knowledge. We can all agree, can't we, that the opening titles of any series are perhaps the most important part of the episode.
Yeah, I think that's debatable, but yes.
Well, because they tell you that your favourite show is just beginning.
Yep.
They draw you in.
Yes.
And perhaps tell you about something, about the type of show that you can expect.
Yeah, sure.
You only have to think of the opening titles for Thunderbirds or Stingray or UFO or Space
Think about
1999
that.
to see exactly that, you see.
Mm-hmm.
And even shows like The Secret Service had opening titles that, whilst unusual,
Yes.
certainly let the viewer know what they were in for.
That's true enough.
Priesty, priest, priest, priest.
That's it, yes.
Yeah. Of course, the music had a huge part to play, and we've discussed in previous Fab Facts just how synonymous Barry Gray's music in particular was with the Anderson genre,
Yep.
but also latterly, the likes of Crispin Morrell
Oh, yes.
and Richard Harvey, of course.
Yep.
And Derek Wadsworth.
Derek Wadsworth even, yeah.
Yeah. And the graphics played their part too.
Oh, yes.
Beautiful visuals. Who could
Yeah.
forget Martin Landau and Barbara Bain standing on their plinths? Yes, doing that, thank you. All the police cruisers screeching in front of the police badge at the beginning of Space Precinct.
Lovely.
Great performance from you there.
Thanks.
Beyond that is another area of opening titles that is frequently overlooked,
Right.
but just as important.
All right, a little less of the aggression.
Sorry. The font, or more accurately, the typeface of the titles.
Okay.
Now, many fan-produced examples are now available online,
Yeah.
such as Steve Ferreira's Anderson Fireball XL5 font,
Right.
or the Mistron font. No guesses as to what that looks like.
Probably that sort of spooky Mistron thing. Yes.
Yeah. The original title sequence for Space 1999 appeared in Braggadocio.
Oh, I had one of those for lunch. Yeah.
Yes. This, unfortunately, rendered many names illegible.
Ah,
So it was altered to Futura Heavy.
okay.
But the standout font is one which anyone with a word processor,
Yes.
PC or Mac,
That's me.
will almost certainly recognise. Eurostyle.
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
I know Eurostyle, yes.
Designed by Aldo Novarese.
Okay.
Novarese.
Okay.
Anyway, designed by Aldo.
Yeah.
Released in 1962, the Eurostyle
Designed
font.
by Aldo.
That's what he probably used to introduce his fonts like that. Released in 62, the Eurostyle font is a very clean one and features rounded ends, making it easy to read.
It certainly is easy to read,
Yeah.
yes.
The art direction on Captain Scarlet, probably led by Bob Bell, used Eurostyle for the opening and end credits to enhance the futuristic look of the show.
Yeah.
Also, the scaled models of cityscapes and street scenes show an unusual fondness for Eurostyle signage as
yeah.
well. It appears all over the place.
Yeah.
Thunderbirds, developed around the same time, also saw increasing amounts of Eurostyle during its development. UFO continued the Eurostyle theming of Captain Scarlet, both as part of the futuristic visual design
Yes.
and for the logo and end credits. Eurostyle appears on signs and labels and vehicles and spacecraft, so perhaps the future's Eurostyle. It seems the perfect font to represent the clean and uncluttered future imagined by Dad's shows, and it has the advantage of being easily read. But if you're looking for the perfect Anderson font, perhaps you could try Anderson.
Oh?
Developed by Larin Type Co., it's got nothing to do with Gerry Anderson, but is described as stylish, unique, and easy to remember. Just like my marvellous co-host and many of your favourite shows.
Yes, that's true. Oh, I see. Eurostyle, it's pretty synonymous with Gerry Anderson programs.
We
as
use it all the
turns out.
time now. In fact, Futura and Eurostyle,
Yes.
that's Futura
Right.
Heavy or Bold or
Is
Black.
it?
Yeah,
I
that we use on the
see.
podcast.
Yeah, okay.
But yes, but Eurostyle appears on lots of our packaging for audiobooks and books and stuff. So,
Right,
yeah.
there you go. I like it. So you literally were the font of all knowledge.
Yes.
I see what you did there now.
Yes.
Or rather what the book did.
clever book did.
That's right.
But
What's
it was,
that poking out the pages there?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it?
It's a little post-it.
Not seen that before.
Oh, it's got an amusing cartoon of you on it. Anyway,
Not another one.
let's move on. So
yeah,
that
great.
brings us.
Yes?
I've just realised I forgot to do that bit.
Go on then.
And it's really, there's only one choice where we could go with this.
I think so.
I think we're going to realign
I
for
know
the
where
first
you're
time in
going.
weeks.
Go for it.
That brings us to the end of this week's
Typeface
Font
Facts!
Facts!
What the?
God!
It's typeface. You said that whole... It's not even font. I think there's a subtle difference between font and typeface, isn't there?
Yeah, but it's supposed to be a single syllable.
Is it?
That's an unforgivable error.
But I'm sure we've had multi-syllable answers before.
Yeah, but it's...
We had kidnapped fact.
Well, you said that. Anyway,
Yeah.
font facts.
We digress.
Go on.
Talking of digressing, let's take a bit of a swerve from what we're talking about now.
Yes.
And hand over to someone who's not even here but looks
Right.
remarkably similar to someone who is.
Yes.
To talk about something else.
Is he bespectacled?
He might be.
Okay. That must mean it's the Gerry Anderson News.
Great.
Hello, Anna fans. It's Jamie Anderson back with your weekly roundup of all things Anderson, so let's dive straight in. Leading the charge, the Joe 90 Project 90 technical manual is now shipping. If you've secured a special edition, we're just adding some finishing touches and we'll have them dispatched very, very soon. And while on the topic of Joe 90, did you tune into our live stream launch party with Jack, AC and Chris? If, like me, you occasionally miss these live events, don't fret, just hop over to our YouTube channel and you could catch the replay. It's definitely not one to miss for Joe 90 fans. For those awaiting the Space Patrol Blu-ray, the wait is over. It's out today, and if you're in the mood for a little taster, we've uploaded a free episode on our YouTube channel to mark this very special release. So go and enjoy that now for free. A fab fashion alert, our 3-for-2 t-shirt offer has been extended. If your wardrobe is crying out for some Anderson flair, then you've got until Friday to take advantage of this fantastic deal. For the curious and the keen, this Friday we're unveiling the secrets of the Secret Service. This promising new book is curated by the ever-dedicated Randomiser himself, Chris Dale. Brace yourselves for some truly captivating insights into this often underappreciated gem. Looking ahead to 2024, we're delighted to announce that next week our calendars for that year will be available. Whether you're a fan of the intense, perhaps, Space 1999 or the puppetry magic of Thunderbirds, we've got something to grace your walls and keep you organised next year. And lastly, for our international family, we've revamped shipping. I know I've been going on about it, but not only is it speedy and cost effective now, but we also handle taxes and import charges up front, and that means a smooth delivery process for you with zero unexpected fees on arrival. Much better. Well, that's your lot for this week. Thanks for joining me as always, and remember to stand by for action. Back to Richard and Jamie in the studio.
I'm not going to sing it. No, I don't have to sing it every week. I think 2 times out of every 4 that's something to aim for, isn't it?
Richard,
Half
50% James.
That's what they call me.
Yep.
That's what my agent calls me. There we go. Excellent news. I enjoyed that.
I always enjoy the news.
Where are you filming those little inserts?
Apart
from when you were in San Diego.
When I'm not in San Diego, just in the farm. I've got a little office down the end of the house.
One day, can we have a little news insert where you film yourself, with the sheep or something?
Bit weird.
Outside? Is it?
But yeah.
That'd be nice.
Why not?
Yeah, great.
Yeah, I'll go and find...
It'll be the Gerry Anderson news.
Demelza.
Oh.
She'll be good for that.
Oh, what about Richard? Is he still around?
Richard's still around, yes.
Well, you can do it with your co-host.
He escaped from being sheared, so he's still got a full coat on.
Well, good for him. Now, our Podsterons have been getting in touch, and I think it's time to let a little bit of a cool breeze waft over the table as we read out some emails.
This is the voice of the Podsterons.
So, people have been emailing us at podcast@gerryanderson.com. It's so easy. I mean, often, as you know, I give instructions as to how to send emails.
Please
but
don't.
They seem to be doing remarkably well on
They
their
don't
own.
need instructions.
So I'm just going to leave them.
Well, let me begin with this one because I loved getting this email.
Yes, go on.
I mean, I love getting all Podsterons emails, but this
Obviously.
one was particularly marvellous. And if you're watching the video version, hopefully you can see some pictures.
Oh, right.
So it begins, hello from Charleston, South Carolina.
Hello.
I mean, we don't often get emails from
South Carolina.
South Carolina. So
No,
that's
it's the
exciting.
first one I can remember.
Our 7-year-old son, Sebastian Perry, is a huge Captain Scarlet fan. He had his combined 4th, 5th and 6th birthday party last year, combined due to missing prior year's parties during COVID. And the theme was, of course, Captain Scarlet. He had a Captain Scarlet cake and wore one of his Captain Scarlet costumes to the party. He's got multiple ones.
Good.
One from the CGI version and one from the original. He also has a Spectrum t-shirt, which he would wear every day if we allowed it, and an original Captain Scarlet figure and backpack. Last fall, he did his semester historic persons project on Gerry Anderson, where he played the role of Captain Scarlet while delivering the research report.
Wow.
He's 7, by the way.
That's great.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
When he broke his arm recently, poor Sebastian, a friend sent him some custom-made Captain Scarlet cookies.
Lovely.
Isn't that great?
Nice.
And to top it all off, his birthday is on Captain Scarlet Day, no
Get
less.
away.
10th of July.
Get away.
So he's just turned 7
Yes.
a month or so ago.
Yeah.
They watched the Captain Scarlet live stream from across the pond, and they've sent some great pictures. Just so lovely to see. I just think it's so special that a 7-year-old kid
Yeah.
in South Carolina is such a massive fan of classic and new Captain Scarlet.
Brilliant.
So the email signed SIG from Carrie, that's mum, Simon, dad, Sebastian, and Georgia, little sister.
Oh.
Clearly an angel, must be.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Carrie and Simon and co, thank you so much. And Sebastian, awesome.
Yes.
SIG.
Good work.
We really love it. It's brilliant to
That's
hear.
absolutely amazing. Yes, and as you say, I will try and find those pictures and flash them up on the video podcast for those who are watching at home. Paul Davis got in touch to say, hello, Richard, Jamie, and Chris. I hope you're all well. I've been loving the new video format of the podcast. It really adds a new dimension to proceedings. I have a suggestion in response to your request for a version of the classic filmed in supermarination moniker for the podcast. Having given it some thought, how about filmed in superpodulization? That being a smashing together of super, podcast, and visualization. It's good, isn't it?
That's good.
Superpodulization. Anyway, says Paul, on a completely different note, outside the Anderverse, one of my other passions in life is motor racing, and more specifically, long-distance sports car racing. Sounds exciting. Why do I bring this up, I hear you ask?
Why?
Well, I recently discovered that the origins of the famous Le Mans 24 hours winning Ford GT40 can also be traced to the Slough trading estate in the mid-1960s, literally just out the window here.
Amazing.
Yeah. He says the Ford GT40 started life as the Lola GT Mark VI, which you know anyway, I think. And from 1963 onwards was designed, built and run from Lola's factory on Yeovil Road in Slough, a stone's throw from Stirling Road. Makes you wonder whether this nearby top-level sports car racing operation provided story and design inspiration for episodes like Thunderbirds, Move and You're Dead, and the Secret Service's The Cure. Keep up the excellent work, PWORFABSIG Paul Davis.
Or maybe they were inspired by Anderson stuff.
Yes.
Could be.
Could be. I like that. That's great.
Who knows?
And what's quite nice about that, I mean, that's one of the joys of doing the podcast here in Slough, is that we're a stone's throw from all these wonderful historic places.
Yeah.
But how interesting. I like that a lot. Thank you very much, Paul.
Unexpected connection.
Absolutely. Who seems to have an interest outside the worlds of Gerry Anderson.
Who would
What?
who'd think it?
You mean this isn't enough? You have time for other things?
We're trying our best to keep you busy, Paul.
If you have time for other things, why not use that time by sending us an email to podcast@gerryanderson.com. We'll read it out next time. I promise you we will.
Yes.
Won't we? In
Guaranteed.
fact, we almost read out one that we read out last week.
Yes.
Until I noticed
That's
it and we edited it
how
out.
keen we are to read out your emails.
Yeah, we love them so much we'll read them out twice
Read
if
them
we're not
twice,
careful.
yeah.
I think I've done that before as well.
We have.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
But there we
So
are.
professional.
Yeah, send them in and we'll read them out. And also, by the way, you can subscribe to us, can't you? On whatever platform you're listening to us on.
No, not you can.
Well,
you
can.
you should.
They can,
You must.
should. And leave a nice review. Since, particularly, we've gone video, it'd be great to hear what you think about our video podcast. So why not mention us on your on YouTube channel or on... that's probably the only place you're going to be watching on video, aren't you?
But so far, yeah.
Yeah. That's it. I'm done.
Okay.
I think it might be time to hand over to Chris Dale and the Randomiser. And no.
I think it's time we had an interview, isn't it? The second part of an interview.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's do that, shall we?
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to introduce it?
What, Roland Moore?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right then. It's time to catch up with a writer whose work you will almost certainly know, whether you enjoy soap opera, children's television, historical drama, or sci-fi. He's been awarded a Royal Television Award and a Broadcast Award for his writing, and fancy that, he's a Gerry Anderson fan too. It's Roland Moore! Ah, Roland, you came back to see us again.
Yeah, I couldn't get out of the building. It was,
Oh, you've been trying to find your way out all week.
Yeah, it's
Did you go down the stairs and past the security office?
my mistake, I think.
Next time.
But they gave me a sandwich to keep me going.
Thanks so much for coming. Now, last time you did remarkably well on super identification.
Yeah.
I think even surprising yourself.
Do I get another go at that now?
No, you don't. No, but you did get a very creditable 10.
Surprising, really.
It's not bad at all. So you told us your very specific memory of the Pit of Peril, I think, was your first Anderson memory from Thunderbirds. And in your earlier email to me and in our discussion last week, you mentioned how you were captivated by that sense of tension in the scenes in the Sidewinder with the crew running out of air. So is that the sort of thing that, as a writer, that you love to write? What attracts you to it in that case? Or are you more concerned with character development, interpersonal relationships, and so on? What grabs you?
I think if you're doing it well, you can do both at once. It's like the Sidewinder. you've got those three people trapped in a space.
Yeah.
I think, if I was writing that, I'd explore those relationships between them, and perhaps, how they would change in that really tense situation.
Yeah.
So you've got the drama of the exterior thing and also internal.
Yes, I see.
So I think, hopefully if things come together, you're doing both.
Yeah.
But no, I love writing peril where it's relentless and
yeah. Because we like to see characters put through the ringer, don't we?
We do,
As
poor
an audience.
things. And as I said last week, I think we want as a writer, you want your characters to have an easy time.
Yeah.
Because as part of you thinks they're your friends.
Yes, that's
but
right.
no, you have to put them through hell.
Yes. So we know you as a screenwriter, and we discussed last time, also as a novelist.
Yes.
But also I saw on your website a lecturer.
Mm.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I've been invited to various universities to lecture on script writing and creating a series. So this is something I've done 3 times now. So I've got a sort of range of experience in not just the UK, but in other countries.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, people wanted to hear me speak to sort of MA students or BA students.
Yeah.
And it's been great going around the country doing that.
So are you saying then that it can be taught?
That's a really good question. I think you need some talent, but certainly the mechanics of it can be taught. And I think also what I try and talk about as well is what qualities you need as a writer, which are beyond talent. So things like resilience, because as an actor, this as well. You get lots of rejection. It's more common to get a no than a yes, and it's dealing with that. It's sort of picking yourself up and thinking. Not taking it personally and thinking it's not because I'm rubbish, it's because whatever's not right is not the right time. They're doing something similar. And so, I teach those sort of qualities of how to be as a script writer. Don't be weird,
That might help.
Normal. Because, whoever employs you is going to have a long relationship with you.
Yes.
Probably quite a stressful relationship at times because you're up against production deadlines. And so, make it easy for them, make yourself so you're someone who they'll like and they'll like spending time with.
Interesting, your point there about resilience. I saw a clip on, I think it was Instagram recently about an actor who she had been turned down for her 50th job that year.
Right.
And was an emotional wreck about it and phoned her mum for support, but didn't get the support from her mum that she was hoping for. But in fact, got some rather wise words. And she said, I don't know what you're crying about. This is the job. I think the rejection is the job.
Yeah.
And when you get the job, that's when you can relax and enjoy it. But actually the hard work, the work part of the job is the rejection.
Yeah.
That's one way to look at it.
And I think, a lot of writers fall by the wayside because they can't deal with that. And, it's not always a personality thing. It's a financial thing. You can't afford to put more time into it. Other things, priorities in life come to the fore. So it's a tricky old game for, I think, both writers and actors.
Yes. So as part of your teaching, you're teaching, I suppose, specific skills for screenwriting. Are they transferable from writing books to writing TV series to writing audio plays?
Yeah.
Or are there specific things to each of them?
I think there are similarities.
Yeah.
I mean, you're always writing drama of some sort, whatever the format, whatever the show. There's got to be something of interest. There's got to be conflict. Much as I said we'd like it, they can't sit around having a cup of tea and just a nice time.
Yeah.
So whatever format you're writing, there's going to be drama. There's going to be conflict.
Yeah.
And I think the wider thing is whatever you're writing, there are going to be deadlines. There are going to be people to deal with who are going to have notes.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to change things. Then other people will get involved. They'll have notes. And so it's dealing with all that.
Yeah.
And whatever you're writing, whether it's audio or TV, the process will be similar.
And this is putting you on the spot a bit. Have you got a quick hack for writer's block?
Oh, quick hack. I don't actually believe in writer's block.
Oh.
But that's my hack.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
That's where I get out. But I've never waited for inspiration because often you can't afford to with deadlines looming. So, the image of a writer on a cliff top in a billowing white shirt waiting for the muse, I don't buy that.
Yeah.
And I think, there are techniques you can use to get yourself going. And I think writing a sample scene for something perhaps unrelated or thinking what what are you currently having problems with? Is it two characters who you can't get to talk in the right way? And so then write a scene of them going shopping or something.
And what do you mean not talking in the right way?
So if you can't get their voices right, if especially if you're doing someone else's work, where it's a episode of something else.
Yeah.
Say if you're writing Space 1999 and you thought, I can't get Koenig right, and he doesn't talk to Helena right, and so write a scene where they're doing something they'd never do in the show.
I quite like the idea of them going shopping.
Yeah, going shopping or going to buy a cagoule.
Yeah.
And I think if there is writer's block, that would help you.
Yeah. So where do you start with your scripts? Are you starting with characters, with plot, with an arc, a location? What sparks that initial idea?
It varies. Often, if it's my own original idea, it will start with a what-if question.
Yeah.
So, what if you woke up and you found out your son was a leopard? Or
Yes.
I don't know, I've never done that one. But and then from that, it's the mechanics of that. You think, okay, that's the story. What do I need to tell that story? So you need a father, mother, a son, maybe, whatever would be appropriate for that story. Maybe a scientist who'd investigate the son who's a leopard. And so, you populate the story with characters you need, and then you think, what type of people are they? And it's a sort of process of change as you go along. Suddenly you think, okay, I don't need the father character. Or it could be two women who are in a relationship with a son. Whatever drives the story better or explores your theme in the best way. You might not need a scientist, you might have a teacher who's got that knowledge. And it's populating it with those characters and then working out the actual plot, which is obviously different from story because it's the fine mechanics of what happens, this happens, this happens, this happens.
Yes, I see. As distinct to the story, which is the
story is this boy is a leopard.
Okay.
What does he do about it? It's,
I mean, if big things are listening, there's a box set right there, I think.
I shouldn't have mentioned it because it's obviously
you're giving it away now. That's right.
Discussion.
Let's talk about Humans. Humans, as far as I know, was a series that I loved on Channel 4. I think it ran for 2 or 3 years.
Yes.
Ostensibly set in the sort of present to very near future, the day after tomorrow, I suppose.
Yes.
Where we were surrounded by, I think they started as sort of domestic androids, human-looking robots, who then obviously gained sentience. And we as viewers were asked to question the whole idea of what is life and what deserves life and how do we protect that life.
Yes.
So what was your involvement with Humans? I know you took it elsewhere, but so how did that come about and what did you do with the property?
Sure, yes. So, it ran on Channel 4 originally in this country. And I was brought on board to take the first series and turn it into a drama for Chinese TV, which was an amazing sort of opportunity because not only was it their first ever science fiction drama.
That's incredible.
They'd rejected sort of sci-fi up until that point. So.
And why would you think that is? I'm guessing it's political. I mean, that's probably a naive thing to say.
I think maybe because it can show other ways of living alternative lives. And
which to us, of course, is a very attractive thing about it.
Yes, yeah. And then I think a writer won the Hugo Award for a novel, The Three-Body Problem.
Right.
And so that suddenly it opened the doors for sci-fi. So we were the first sci-fi show on TV. We had 35 million viewers watching it, which is just can't comprehend
absolutely.
that number.
That's extraordinary.
But my remit was to write a drama that was equivalent of like a BBC drama, that sort of quality.
Right.
But for a Chinese audience. So it was written in English and then translated into Mandarin.
I see.
It was also 30 episodes.
30 episodes?
Yes.
Okay. But just the first series?
Just the first series.
Okay.
So it was a great opportunity. It's like I was saying about restrictions earlier.
Yes.
This was a real opportunity because you didn't have 8 episodes to tell the story, which you gave you a lot more room to explore things and go off at tangents, all related to that main plot.
Yeah.
So it's a really good opportunity to do that.
And were there restrictions put on you by the Chinese government or by the way they do things over there? Is it a challenge?
Yeah, I mean, we had certain compliance issues. It's like the first series, it hinges on the dad of the family
yes.
having an affair with a robot.
Yes.
So he's unfaithful.
Yes.
we did that, but it's a harder thing to get away with in China because the family unit is everything.
Right.
And so you can do it, but you've got to be careful how they'll forgive that character who's unfaithful.
I see.
So we had to be careful with that.
Yeah.
Also, our show was set 35 years in the future because we couldn't show a contemporary different society.
I see.
But no, it's fascinating. And as I said, every sort of, in quote marks, restriction was an opportunity because you think, how do I do this?
Yeah.
Originally, we weren't allowed to have any violence in it.
Right.
And so you were thinking, well, how do I do that as a screenwriter? I want these characters, there is violence.
They're fighting for their liberty, freedom. Yeah.
And that changed as we went on. And
right.
we got a lot of violence in it.
Okay, great.
We had,
now you're talking.
Yeah, we had these amazing scenes, which I went to see the filming of, set in like a illegal nightclub.
Yeah.
And where you've got 300 extras all dressed up for a night out, waitresses who are robots. And inside a cage, you've got 2 robots fighting.
Right.
And everyone's placing bets on it. It's amazingly exciting.
Yeah.
Shot
in China or?
In China.
Right, so you got to go. Were you on set a lot or was that just a one-off visit? Or
fair bit. I went to see quite a bit of it being filmed.
Yeah.
And say that sequence was amazing because you had 2 martial artists who were so skilled as stuntmen.
Yeah.
And they rehearsed an 8-minute ballet, which was effectively a ballet.
Yeah,
but
extraordinary.
When you see it cut together with the sound effects, it looks brutal.
Wow.
But
amazing.
they don't touch each other.
Yeah, incredible. And is that still being developed now into series 2, 3, and 4 and so on?
No,
or is that a finite?
Not at the moment.
Been and done and gone?
Yes,
Yeah?
series 1,
Yeah.
I think, sort of perhaps catered for that need for a sort of sci-fi show.
Yeah, fantastic. So, I mean, all these different worlds that you seem to move in, do you have a preference?
I do love sci-fi, but horror as well.
Right.
But then, I do a lot of period drama as well.
Right. Yeah, interesting. Well, Humans is already in my mind a classic anyway. And but you've also had the opportunity to work on what other people might consider a classic for Big Finish. And this has also informed what your favourite character might be.
Oh.
And I think this might be quite a surprise to some of our viewers and listeners. So let's have a look.
Commander Koenig. Tony, you'd better see this.
That's how I'd fly it.
Yes.
What the hell's going on up there? John, what's going on up there? Come in, John. John, can you hear me? Hey, look, Ma, no hands! Do you read me?
Well, it's the Space 1999 Eagle.
Yes.
Is your favourite character?
Yeah, it's probably cheating a little bit. But
we'll allow it. So that's Martin Landau having the time of his life.
Yes.
In Bringers of Wonder Part 1. Doing the old trick with the old compressed air on being blown onto his cheeks. I don't know if you saw that. To simulate the G-force. Out of everyone that you could have picked, or everything you could have picked, you landed on the Eagle.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I think in general, some of the Anderson designs are incredible. And as a kid, I always wanted the Eagle toy. I never had it.
Go on, I'll let you play with that.
Let me play with it. It's brilliant. Look at that. It's got a weight to it as well.
It has, yes.
Yeah. I remember these came with there's a medical one and another one with sort of toxic waste on it. And things.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a beautiful design, isn't it?
Yes, it is. That's Brian Johnson, I think, who designed that.
So I think probably every kid wanted to fly one. And I think there's so many characters, yes, I could have chosen, but I think giving a nod to the design, particularly that bit of design.
There's a sense, isn't there? We've discussed this before on the podcast at various points, that the ships, the craft from the Anderson universe are just as much characters as the puppets or the human actors.
And I think, it goes on to another part of my childhood, which was was like the show UFO.
Yeah.
I was never familiar with it until I watched it last week.
Yeah.
I never watched it, but I had the toys in the, I think, early 80s. I was given them. We had a friendly dustman,
Right.
who, I don't know, I'd love to know more about this, but he collected toys, and he'd bring them round to my parents and say, does he want these? You know? And so I got the Shadow Interceptor, the big green model.
Yes.
I think I had the car at one point from Shadow.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
All in fairly good condition?
Fairly good. And the Caterpillar vehicle with the green one.
Right, yes, nice.
Was there a blue one as well?
Oof, gosh, I mean, yes, possibly.
With white bumpers.
Right.
But you had all of these, and I had no idea what they were. I knew they were from an Anderson show. But, and so, it was years and years later I actually see them.
Yeah, right. Because they do sell the series in their own right, don't they? They make you want to know more. If you just saw that without knowing about Space 1999.
Yeah, you play with it, you want to know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a really lovely design.
Now, as you know, we have a Facebook group, followed by our lovely Podsterons, as we call them.
Sure.
And they've been leaving messages on our Facebook group for our guests. And if you'd just like to reach into our fantastic Space 1999 lunchbox, you'll see some messages from some listeners.
It's an essay this week.
Go on.
It's from Anthony Zahetner.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Anthony. Roland, your Doctor Who stories, Memories of a Tyrant and the Night Witches, were interesting studies of war. A war story is a passion of yours. And he's got a second question as well. Yes, I do like war stories. I mean, obviously Land Girls was on the home front in the war, but it wasn't a safe environment. It was very much still danger. I think during war you can explore characters' sort of darker sides, and also the sort of things that make people heroes, and whether it's sort of outwardly heroic things or just small things that make a massive difference to someone else.
And is there a sense that this sort of existential threat, there being a war on, is a test of character, brings out either the best or the worst in people? Which
absolutely, I think that's the case. And I love exploring all that. Whether it's sort of an artificial, a made-up war like Memories of a Tyrant, or a real one like The Night Witches. Anthony also says, is writing a sequel to established characters and storylines like the Daleks, Lethbridge Stewart, etc., harder or easier than your own creations?
Have you ever written for those characters, just out of interest?
Yes.
So tell us about that. What was for Big Finish, I'm guessing.
Yes, well, Big Finish, I wrote the Daleks. I've written several Doctor Who's with the Daleks in them. And it's, the first time you write in a script, exterminate, you think, wow, it's like writing interior TARDIS. It's like a moment. The Daleks are really interesting because until you come to write them, you realise how difficult they are to write because they speak in this staccato way. So you can't give them really long speeches. It just doesn't quite work. So it's finding out things they would say in the way they would say it. Working with Nick Briggs was amazing because you can have a room full of Daleks and they'll all have different voices,
That's right.
So it's been really good fun. I think one of my favourite Dalek moments was writing a Dalek saying, "Trust me," because you think there's no way you'd trust him.
Right.
For Lethbridge Stewart, I wrote a short story for a collection of a candy jar book of Lethbridge Stewart.
I see.
Again, really good fun.
And as you write those, are you hearing, for example, Nicholas Courtney in your mind as you write, or not?
My one was slightly different because it didn't have him in it. But he was part of the framing device. But normally you're sort of writing.
And is that a help? Say, for example, I know you've written other Doctor Who stories with, I guess, Tom Baker and so on.
Yes.
Are you hearing his Doctor as you write? And does that help?
It does, totally. It's like with Land Girls. I'd written, I think, 2 episodes of it, and then it was cast.
Right.
And so suddenly you know who's going to, like we had Mark Benton in it. So suddenly you know how Mark Benton talks. You know his mannerisms. And even though he's playing a different character, you bring some of that to it. It's like that with all the Doctors, Colin Baker, Peter Davison, Paul McGann,
And what's it like when you finally hear them back?
Oh, it's amazing, It's because also you remember the recordings when you went to them and the sort of hijinks that go on and the tales in the green room. And then you hear it and it's like being transported back in time to those eras.
Amazing. Another question.
Sure. Right, this one is Nicola Fox. Thank you, Nicola. Which of Gerry Anderson's series would you like to live in for real?
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, yeah.
They're all pretty high peril, aren't they?
They
Really?
are, yes. You wouldn't last very long, would you?
No. I imagine I'd go absolutely, I'd get really anxious living on the moon under those circumstances.
Well, just imagine yourself maybe on Tracy Island.
Yeah.
You know,
Maybe if
just
I
chilling out by the pool.
Could I be like one of the support staff at Tracy Island, just the cook or something?
Okay, nice quiet life.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
When are the boys coming back? The stew's ready. You know, yeah.
And I think there's a couple more in there, so let's
Sure.
let's take a look and see what else.
Okay, this one's from Anthony Zahedna. Thank you, Anthony.
Yes.
You're adept at world building, the robots, fallen, transference. Are you looking to bring a new Anderson series to life? And if you can't say, what property or genre would you like to reimagine?
Oh. Are you currently involved in talks to bring an Anderson project to life?
I'm not, but I'm open to offers. No, I mean, I'd love to. It's such a toy box to play with, isn't it? So, the chance of adapting an Anderson project for either audio or a new TV series would be great.
Yeah.
I think probably if I had a free reign, probably the one I'd have a go at would be UFO.
Yeah.
Just because I've recently got into it.
Yeah.
And I think like doing a new version of that for TV would be really exciting.
Nice. Now let's go back to Space 1999 because throughout our email correspondence over the last couple of weeks or so, you had a very specific question about the opening title. Yeah. So let's have a look at this. I mean, firstly, I have to say, probably the best opening theme to any Gerry Anderson series ever. Isn't that wonderful? But, we've all seen that 100 times, if not more, haven't we? What's your beef?
No beef, just intrigue. Probably the wrong sort of intrigue, because I've always been fascinated. As a kid, I spent an inordinate amount of time watching that, thinking, how do they do that rotation? Of Barbara Bain and Martin Landau, because they look like they're stationary. Are they doing some sort of river dance thing underneath their legs, or are they on a lazy Susan moving around, or is the camera doing a spin?
Certainly, Barbara Bain really gives it the full
she's
sort of
amazing. I mean, she's gliding. She's like a Dalek.
Yeah.
So I came here specifically for an answer.
Well, I'm afraid I can't furnish you with one, Roland. If you know at home, podcast@gerryanderson.com. Let us know. I did try and find out for you.
Oh, thank you.
I've got a little bit of information. So the Koenig, Bain and Morse title shots were first filmed on the afternoon of Friday, the 11th of February, 1974.
Oh, wow.
Which was day 26 of the breakaway shoot, the first episode. Day 26.
Gosh.
Which shows you how far behind they were already at that point.
Yeah. Really in character by then, though, I guess.
Well, quite, yeah. But then they were refilmed again on Tuesday, the 19th of February. But I have no other details.
Because the turntable went too fast? Or
maybe. I mean, Martin Landau just gives a little turn of the head, but Barbara Bain, I grant you.
She's a full-on sort of...
Yeah, it'd be great to find out. So let's talk about Big Finish very quickly before we end there, and how Space 1999 came about. Did you pitch for that, or were you approached because of your previous work? How did that happen?
I think I was approached for that one by Nicholas Briggs, who was overseeing the project with Jamie Anderson.
Yeah.
And it's a massive honour to be asked to do one of them.
And did you have a choice of stories, or was it presented to you?
I think it was presented to me, that one.
Yeah. And what kind of leeway were you given?
I was given a lot of flexibility, actually. I mean, as I said, it's quite a complicated episode with so many themes and so much going on. Yeah. And I think you can make probably about 4 or 5 episodes out of it, the themes in there.
Yes.
So I was given a lot of leeway to, for instance, we changed the planet's name.
Right.
And lots of the themes and things we explored in different ways slightly.
Nice. Fantastic. Well, now, before we say goodbye to you, Roland, I have to force you to take part in the last item of the show. Cute, mute, or recruit. Now, we are trying to assemble our very own international rescue.
Right.
Previous guests have given us Professor Bergman from Space 1999 and Stingray's Aquamarina, and Nigel Planer last week chose Mike Mercury.
Okay, you've got quite a team going on.
Quite a team going on.
Yeah.
So it's your chance now to add to that team. I'm going to show you the 3 random cards that Nigel chose for you to choose from. And I want you to imagine that these 3 people have just followed you on your social media profiles.
Okay.
Which of them are cute? Which would you mute? And which would you recruit out of Joe 90?
Oh, nice.
Slow-Mo the Robot from Space Precinct. He's a robotic secretarial appliance.
Okay.
Might come in useful.
Yeah.
Or an alien organ harvester from UFO. Which of those, let's start, would you say is cute?
Yeah. I suppose the robot's cute.
Yeah, the robot is for Slow-Mo is very cute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is he
well,
intelligent? I can't
I
don't know.
he's quite handy with a piece of paper and a floppy disk. So we think he's cute, which is fair enough. So now, which out of Joe 90 and the UFO alien would you mute? Never to hear from again.
I think one of them's going to be a liability.
You might be right.
Yeah, the Martian.
But you like a bit of peril, remember?
Yes.
Yeah. So
don't have
off
him
goes the
in your team.
alien from UFO, which means you've chosen Joe 90 as your recruit for our international rescues.
That's pretty good. I'm pleased with that.
Yes, because of course he can download any experiences that he might need.
I think he probably could sack the other professors in the group and do it all himself.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that. Now, just before you go, I'd like you to pick 3 cards for our next guest. There we are. And we won't reveal all just yet. Thank you.
Right.
But when our next guest arrives next week, giving yourself a sneak preview, they will have to choose one to mute.
Very little chance
Who
we
is
know who
cute
some
or
of them are.
recruit. Yeah, exactly. Roland, thank you so very much for joining us
Thank
here on
you.
the podcast. It's been great getting to see you and chat to you about your career.
Thanks
and,
very much.
We hope to see you again. Roland
you.
Moore, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you to the wonderful Roland Moore. Really appreciated having him along for the podcast.
Yes.
Nice to hear from a scribe.
Absolutely.
And didn't you just love his favourite character?
Well, I mean, we've talked about music being a character in its own right before, but I'm not sure anybody said that a vehicle is a character in its own
Well, we've
right.
often talked about the vehicles being the stars,
Yes, that's
haven't
true.
we? And in this case, in Roland's case, the eagle absolutely was.
No.
So there you go.
I'm sure many will be cheering his choice.
Yes, I think you're right. So that's it for Roland. Who will we have next week? I think I can probably tell you
Can you?
that we have someone from Space 1999, the original series, joining us,
Ooh.
and someone from UFO.
Oh.
Yep. So
Okay.
more details on our Facebook group in the next couple of days. And also there you'll be invited to leave a message, a question for our future guests. I'll read them out, or they will read them out, from the Space 1999 lunchbox.
Ah, lovely lunchbox.
Yes. Pardon?
Yes, I'm looking forward to questioning said guest, in
Yes.
due course, and
Uh-huh.
reading out questions.
Yep.
In the meantime, though, would you like some comments from our YouTube channel before we wrap things up and head into the randomiser?
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sure?
Yes.
Well, lots of people have been watching Lee Sullivan.
Have
on
they?
Pod 267.
Oh, I see. You mean on YouTube? I thought you meant just in general. They've
Just
been
through his
watching.
window. Yeah, a bit creepy.
Yeah.
JetDom767
Here we
says, I have come from audio and now look forward to watching this on a Monday.
I have come from audio.
Exactly. It's a,
Like it.
a planet in Alpha
Yeah.
Centauri somewhere.
Great.
I'll also give you
Yes.
Rock Chameleon Fab,
Like it.
who says, I am very glad to hear Lee agrees with my sentiment that Scott will waste no time in whipping out the machine cannon the second somebody touches a camera. I fear this man. I fear
Yes.
Scott, I assume, not Lee.
That's right. Tom Senior 7405 says, as a child, I envisaged a fleet of thousands of full-scale static TB2s. These purpose-built craft could be used as school classrooms, toy museums, or as housing, such as holiday homes or even private residences. I was somewhat delighted to learn that former civil aircraft have been saved from the salvage yard to fulfil some of these roles. Didn't know that. Nevertheless, I would love to see Thunderbird 2s have a chance.
Except there's only one Thunderbird 2.
Lots of pods, though.
Lots of pods,
Maybe
yeah,
that's
but
the
then
point.
well, you'd have to build Thunderbird 2s in order to then scrap them and use them for this purpose.
Fair enough. Also, he says, Uncle Rubbish is from the Grumbleweeds. Yes, this is going back to why do you call Lee Sullivan
Yes.
Uncle Rubbish. He was a cynical comedy character, always threatening violence to his innocent little friend during tea time for Tiny Tots. You're getting right up my nose, you are, pal. Like the way I said that? Apparently that was what he used to say.
Nice.
He was portrayed by Morris Lee, and I adored the Grumbleweeds radio show when I was young. So Tom Senior, I don't know the Grumbleweeds.
No, nor me.
Uncle Rubbish.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just Lee Sullivan.
Just Lee Sullivan.
Roger Smith, 2950.
Oh, yes.
Great interview. Lee is always entertaining, and I agree with him about the joy of building a model while at work.
Oh, yes.
The joy of being paid for one thing while doing something for yourself is tremendous, and I do it now if I get the chance. Forwarded to Roger's employers.
That's great. I, for one, says Ian Dealey, can't wait for the 40th anniversary of Terrorhawks, although I just hope that Zelda doesn't ruin it by trying to destroy the world. Well,
We'll have to wait and see, won't we?
don't have long to wait, to be fair.
Do you know what? Even though people are commenting on Pod 267, which
Yes.
is very recent, they're
Yeah.
also commenting on Pod 2.
Pod 2.
Pod 2, which is our first real podcast, because Pod 1 was a bit of a sort of a teaser.
It
and,
was, really.
a statement of intent.
Yes.
So
That we've never really fulfilled.
No,
have we?
never.
No.
No, even after all this
Never
time.
really delivered on that.
Well, back on Pod 2, Griff
Yeah.
Watson says, "Ha ha!
Right.
You guys are nuts."
Hey.
But in a nice way.
Oh, right.
Very funny, very informative.
Wow.
And it's so wonderful that you're keeping Gerry Anderson's shows alive in the news, up to date, and all the rest. Wonderful stuff. Please keep this up.
Yeah.
NB, much, much, much more focus on UFO, please.
Oh, okay.
Gosh.
Well, I hope he's satisfied, having watched the last 269.
Yes, it's like slight admonishment at the end there.
Yes.
And I think John Murden 6763
Yes.
really kind of puts his finger on it here. This pod is riveting.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that was said in all seriousness or with a slight undertone of snark? Not sure.
It's really hard to tell from here. I'm
Interesting.
going to say genuine, no
Yeah.
snark.
Yeah, fine. Interesting, Griff Watson's comments there. You guys are nuts, but in a nice way. Very funny, very informative. It's so wonderful. We hit our stride early, didn't we?
Clearly.
That's pod 2.
Downhill from there.
I'm going to listen to that, see how well we did. So, yes, all our pods are up there on YouTube for you to listen to, I think,
Yeah.
aren't they?
Yes.
Some people often complain that the earlier pods disappear from some apps.
Yeah, because you can only have 300 apps, and we
and
had
we've got-
trailers and stuff.
That's
so,
it.
Yeah.
But they're all up on YouTube, so you can scroll back and start
Yes.
the journey all over again and watch season 1, which ended last week, of course.
On a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So it spoils it now, doesn't it?
It does a bit, yeah.
Yeah,
But
never
there we
mind.
are. But anyway, as we've discovered, season 2 is much the same as season 1, thank goodness, and that
Yes.
includes the randomiser.
Thank goodness for that in
Yes.
particular.
And Chris Daly's over there, well, looking at his watch.
Yeah.
And Roland Moore seems to be hanging around as well, so
Awkward.
he's still not got the train home.
No.
Let's see what they're up to, shall we?
You're up again. Come on, Roland.
Hello.
You don't escape again. Well, last week went quite well, I thought.
Did you enjoy it?
Found out about Supercar. Yes, that's always one of my favourites. So, as you're here,
Press
nobody
the button.
else is around.
Sure.
May as well have another go with the old randomiser button. Anything you're hoping for to come up this week?
Always Space 1999. I think if I had a free choice, you know.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
the selection has been made, and the title Circles of Doom has come up. Do you know what series that's from?
Oh, is that Captain Scarlet?
It's so close. It's from New Captain Scarlet.
Ah.
Yes, the 2005 CGI series.
Yeah. Oh, enjoy.
I will. Goodbye.
Thank you.
So now it's time for some new Captain Scarlet on the randomiser. I don't think we've been here for a while, so how nice and appropriate it is that our first visual new Captain Scarlet on the randomiser is a very visual episode, and one that rewards just, being seen rather than heard only. Because I think this is the point in the series where they've really got a handle on the CGI. And I think it was a slow process. I say that as someone who has no experience rendering anything in CGI and has nothing but respect for the people who worked on this show.
Vampires are hot stuff.
But there are some moments in the early episodes where it's a bit sort of, if they'd just had a chance to, I don't know, come back to that a year later, it could have looked so different. This is where I think we finally hit a nice balance between what the series is capable of doing and it being able to produce something that looks great on a TV budget. So we have a lot of aerial dogfight footage in this episode. Anywho, Scarlet and Destiny are at some airfield somewhere. Lots of planes about the place, including the bomber. Ah.
Then you're in for a treat.
And of course, the pilot is a Biggles clone. We also had the vampire jets flying about the place. I don't think for once they get killed and taken over by the Mysterons.
Hard to believe people actually went to war in planes like that.
And one.
Yes, it's interesting though how a lot of Scarlet and Destiny's dialogue is played in a slightly flirty way, even when there's nothing flirty about the words that they're saying. But this Lancaster just looks gorgeous through the whole episode.
Control tower. Good luck.
So there's an air show tomorrow. I guess the Angels are here to practice. Scarlet's here because Destiny. Black is here because Scarlet and Destiny. Oh. And we also have, we have all 5 of them here, which is a rare sight. I'm not sure we get to see all 5 of the pilots in action, but yeah, this just looks gorgeous in HD. And to be fair, it looked gorgeous back in 2005 when I was recording this onto VHS from Ministry of Mayhem, and it still looked thoroughly impressive. This just is beautiful, and it's amazing how well they've managed to create a scale of, you know, the whole surrounding countryside. And yeah, okay, some of the airport buildings there weren't 100%, but who cares? The action is so quick and so dynamic, and just for the most part so gorgeous to look at that it really draws you in. And I think it's quite an Anderson thing to do. I'm surprised it's taken this long, really, to open an episode with essentially an air show. Sort of, look, here's our model planes. Look what we can make them do. Look how pretty it all is. And it is just gorgeous visuals all the way through here. And Destiny has to steal the show. She is the thread being tied through the spiral that the other Angels have created. Scarlet's not going to acknowledge the airport controller guy there.
Okay, Angels, let's go home.
Well, that was a quick test. But Black is on the scene, and he has a strange little bit of tech.
Here they come.
Which I think is quite heavily influenced by, and I want to say the film that all of that that they do so much in this episode, that's Minority Report, isn't it? I think so. And there's a lot of that in this episode of Mistron technology that operates in quite the same way.
Systems failure.
Anywho, the Angels are in trouble. Everyone's going a bit scrambly thanks to Black's machine.
I've lost control. Destiny, do you read me?
What's happening?
Destiny, I'm wearing your helmet for some reason.
We've lost contact.
Again, that's something in these early episodes, particularly with the Angels. The names on the helmets are not always consistent, I think, because some of the shots are just so quick. It's like, let's get it done. It doesn't matter that angel is bald or that angel has the same name on the helmet as the one who just went by in the previous scene. So, oh yeah, Harmony clearly can't do anything, but Destiny's still very cross with her. Here's yet another CGI figure who looks a bit like Gerry. And it seems like the other Angels have got away okay, but Harmony and Destiny, being the only 2 that we know at this point, are having a bit of trouble. Oh no! So is that Harmony out? Oh, she now has no name on her helmet at all. Yeah, that's Harmony, definitely. Well, they're -1 plane for the air show. She's got the name back on her helmet now. I can't see what name that is from here. And they're -1 plane. But again, lovely build-up to the eventual crash, and quite a convincing crash landing. Unfortunately, there's no CGI farmer there to mug at the sight of an aircraft crashing in his field. But again, they're just doing so much with what I would have to assume are limited resources. The visuals in this episode are one of the highlights. Destiny at least has the right name on her helmet.
Going to hit the tower.
Oh no.
Eject, Destiny, eject.
What? If she ejects, it'll still hit the tower. Nah, this is Destiny. She's got to do some last-minute heroic thing. Or Black could just turn the thing off. Yep, that's what he did. And there she goes, sailing on by. Oh. So, Destiny is safe. She saved the day. Kind of.
Destiny, can you hear me? What happened?
No idea. Suddenly everything's back to normal.
What is that yellow streak on the side of the cockpit? I always wonder if that's meant to be part of, like, reflection from the controls, or if that's somehow a yellow streak from when they were doing the aerial display earlier. Anywho, it's time to go to Skybase, where there's a lot of problems.
Skybase was anything but an isolated incident. Electronic digital systems, everything from radios to entire computer networks, failed across this whole area.
Oh no.
Simultaneously.
As if someone had thrown a switch. Then, after 2 minutes of chaos and carnage, they turned everything back on.
Digital systems practically hold
So they did a basic, IT crowd turn it off and turn it on again kind of thing.
But there's something else.
It's a shame, I suppose, we don't get a full picture of what that chaos entails. Instead, we go to the crop circles.
Crop circles?
They appeared within the footprint of the digital anomaly. And within those...
That's a lovely phrase, and rather interestingly delivered by Mike Haley. Digital anomaly.
The mathematical center of today's activity.
I'm on my way.
And I am too, I guess. Yeah, it's something both versions of Scarlet have in common. Anything goes wrong, Scarlet's like, I'm on my way. I'm going to deal with it. Never mind the fact that there's a lot of other agents who, Captain Magenta could investigate a crop circle, let's be fair.
I don't understand. We should be right over it.
Okay.
This is still at that point in the series where they're not really interested in using the other captains yet. Either they're not interested or they just haven't got them rendered yet. It's a very nice setting we find ourselves in now, and I think quite an iconic visual for the series of Blue and Scarlet in this cornfield, in just the middle of nowhere. We actually get a glimpse of the Spectratech monitor for once.
Anything?
And the fact that the caps can lower a screen that allows them to read out what it's detecting.
Quiet, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Too quiet?
Too quiet.
Yes!
Whatever happened to the birds, I want?
By law, they have to say that. It's action hero
There's
law.
no bird song.
But beneath the field? Yes, there's Captain Black with his wall of... I'm sure it's Minority Report, and I'm sure that's a huge influence on the visuals of this. I mean...
Something's certainly going on, though.
I suppose they could have got away with it.
Because suddenly I'm feeling lousy.
Without that stuff. Okay. And speaking of Scarlet mentioning there that he feels lousy, that was something that was part of the early episodes of the original show, and then this series only mentioned occasionally when it was convenient for the plot. And the only other time that I can think of off the top of my head is at the end of Skin Deep. I nearly said Chiller. No, it's Skin Deep. Destiny says, you said once, whenever you're near a Mystron, you feel lousy. And that was kind of inconsistently applied through the series. But this is just such a cool visual, the flattening of the corners suddenly.
Amazing.
And when I was younger, I first saw this episode, it never really did that much for me. Again, I think I thought, okay, someone's seen Minority Report. They kind of like the visuals of someone in front of a screen pulling stuff around, and they thought, how can we build a story about that? So it was never one of my favourites when I was younger. Now I appreciate it much more for just how unusual and how weird it is within this universe, while also respecting that it is technically head and shoulders above a lot of the other earlier episodes. Yeah, so somehow the Mysterons have built a base under a farmer's field. Presumably there is a farmer. We don't see any indication of such, but yes, a massive, empty, well, I was going to say complex, but it's not really complex, it's just a great big hole. And again, one of the earliest appearances of those floating Mysteron bubble things, which we'd see again several times through the series. That is just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece of CGI right there. again, it's the sense of scale that you get with this. How small the helicopter, and in particular Scarlet and Blue, look as they enter this Mysteron world.
I've been expecting you.
I'm in full Bond villain mode this week.
Your guns are useless here.
The microprocessor in the gun. It's been knocked out.
Oh, no.
Just like you disabled the systems in Destiny's plane.
Destiny? How is she?
As if you care.
You didn't even ask how Harmony was. Mind you, I didn't mention Harmony, I only mentioned Destiny. Because Destiny is the only one that matters.
The crop circles.
A signature of certain Mysteron energies. They gave you something to focus on.
It's a simple, possibly too simple explanation for what we've been seeing, but I don't know, I think it works. Because, again, going back to the original series, what do we know of the Mysterons? It's rings, so it's perfectly in keeping with the original show that crop circles could become a thing in a new series.
Nuclear reactors in meltdown.
Not while I can get my hands on you.
I'll have to tell you that's what I'm doing, because we can't show you any of it. But this is cool, though. Black suddenly directly possessed.
This is the voice of the Mysteron.
And I think this might be the first time they spoke to Scarlet since the opening two-parter.
Disobey, and worldwide technological failure will destroy you all.
I also love, as the platform goes back up, that Black doesn't recover instantly. You just see him sort of... I'm not even trying to compose himself. He's just, like, left weak by what's taken over his body just then. It's just one of those things with Black in both versions of the series where you get images like that and it sets the wheels turning in your mind what's going on with him that we don't see off screen.
Miss out on the action.
Oh, good.
The Colonel's waiting to hear from the UN.
Well, they fired me.
The British Prime Minister has vetoed a nuclear strike.
Oh, well.
So what's the game plan?
Conventional weapon strike, first light.
But, Colonel, we're talking about Mysteron technology under that crop circle. Conventional bombs might not be enough.
We have to nuke the south of England, Colonel.
Destiny, you will spearhead the attack.
Oh. There she is. There's our little Miss Spearhead. Oh, I thought we were going to get the whole doodly thing with the robot, but not this week.
It isn't that, Colonel. It's just that I can't believe the Mysterons won't have anticipated our response, and they'll be ready for us. It'll be suicide.
That's why we're sending Destiny, Captain.
Destiny knows the risk.
Oh, they're sending her in alone. They are. Oh, no. Okay. 1 launched, 5 arrived.
ETA target, 5 minutes.
So now we're going to get some more good aerial combat stuff, I suppose.
I'm going in first.
We know. We kind of suspected you would go in first. So yes, they're going to try and bomb that one field. Try and get Black's base underneath. I love that little bit of incidental music. Oh, and she's immediately knocked out.
Mayday, mayday. I'm losing control.
Oh no.
Angel flight, return to base. Repeat, return to base.
If I can't do it, it can't be done.
Destiny, report. Come in, Destiny. All systems must have failed again.
Oh, no. Yeah, she's all right.
Oh no.
What? Oh no, more fields. Oh, there was a hill. Okay. Because of the speed of it, it didn't look too different to any other field or hill that she'd been flying over already.
Switched off moments before Destiny crashed.
So, we can't hit them with anything that relies on digital technology.
But they seem willing to let Destiny live.
And what do we do?
I don't know.
So we strap her to a very big bomb.
Is that surrender is out of the question.
Yeah.
I wonder if...
If what, Captain?
Here it comes. And this is a cracking reveal, I think. I also love the CGI interior of the bomber. And it's such a, for a vehicle that's only going to appear in a couple of scenes, they do a really good job establishing this thing. The design is absolutely credible. Again, I suppose it helps that this is a real-life vehicle that we have in our own world. It's, there's no excuse really for not doing a great job with this.
Commencing bombing run.
Destiny has to be here to make sure that they do it right.
Opening bomb bay doors.
I also like as well, even though it's obvious,
All right, she's all yours, Adam.
we don't get the immediate reveal of the exterior of the bomber.
1 degree left, Paul.
We just get this interior stuff for the most part, and then they gradually establish the outside of the thing. But it is a very clever device, and something that I've seen in repeated in lots of sci-fi shows after this, the idea of, we now live in a digital world, how do we solve this problem that affects digital and electronic things? We find a non-digital solution for it.
Something's wrong. I can't stop them.
I haven't got enough bits to put on my jigsaw. I think, there it is. Recently, the third season of Star Trek Picard ended that way. They needed a ship that was off the grid, and they happened to find one. I'm not going to say what ship they found, but it was a lovely touch, and it's the same here. Hey! And wouldn't you know it, Blue is bang on target. Every single one of his missiles is right in the centre of the crop circle, and I just love that shot of Black, sort of, oh no. It's something that this show does with Black sometimes, that the original show never really did. There's almost a sort of Wile E. Coyote moment to some of his downfalls. Yes, direct hit, massive explosion, massive release of energy.
Spectrum Lancaster bomber to central control. Bullseye!
Hey.
Target completely destroyed.
And we did it without Destiny. See, it can be done. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous model. Yeah, also I love the music as well. Nice and bombastic. It's great fun. We didn't have a bomb there, Scarlet. Can you explain that?
Like the Lancaster didn't rely on computers,
Yeah.
which made them quite immune to the Mistron weapon.
I'm just sorry Black managed to give us the slip again.
Nevertheless, well done, Scarlet. By the way,
I love that as well, because it kind of implies that they did go and search the hole for him, whereas we're about to find out I don't think they did.
our Lancaster back. That is, if you've quite finished with it, old boy. And we do hope you haven't pranged it.
Haven't pranged it?
Yes, because this may be 2005, but the Anderson shows are still writing pilots as if it was 1965. Yes. Just like the old London airport crew. Yes, this is what I mean when I say I don't think they can have searched the hole, because we go back to the hole and we get a very Wile E. Coyote type moment. The line that Black is about to say, you could almost hear him, holding up a sign with it written on. I just picture him like crushed under a bit of debris, so okay, fine, I'll be back, whatever. Anywho, that was Circles of Doom, and that's a fantastic episode, particularly on the visual front. As I said, it was never an episode I enjoyed much when I first saw it, so it's one that's really grown on me over the years. And if you've never seen this episode and you'd like to watch it without me waffling all over the thing, I believe that this episode is available to watch for free online on the Gerry Anderson YouTube channel. So go click the channel, go search Circles of Doom, and enjoy.
Ooh, Captain Scarlet.
Still doing that, are we?
You're never going to think of that in the same way again, are you?
Probably not.
No.
Ixpanner. Anyway, new Captain Scarlet.
Yes.
Lovely.
Oh, I love new Captain
Always
Scarlet.
nice to get it out there, give it an airing, get people watching it.
Quite right.
Remind people that it exists and how
Quite
great
right.
it is.
Some people are kind of viscerally opposed to it, aren't they?
Well, they shouldn't be.
No, but perhaps because it's not old Captain Scarlet. But I just think the taken, in and of itself, nice piece of work.
Exactly.
Interesting, fun, tense.
And a fine analysis from Chris Dale.
A fine analysis from Chris Dale.
He'll be back next week with another random episode.
Will he?
Yeah, because that's what happens here on season
week.
2. It's not season 2, it's just more
I
of the
like it, though.
same.
I like it. Now I can tell people I'm on season 2 now. Yeah, we were renewed for another season. We could say that.
Just do it every week then.
Yeah, you still do the Gerry Anderson podcast, they'll say, oh, yeah, we were renewed for a
Start
second
season 3 next week. Yeah, just keep refreshing it. Anyway, no, it's more of the same. Always will be.
Yeah.
Until we stop doing it.
Yeah.
Which is not soon.
Probably. No, probably not.
Podsterons, email us podcast@gerryanderson.com with your thoughts.
Yep.
And comment everywhere and say things, be they good, bad, or ugly. We don't mind. We'll still read them.
Yeah, pretty much. That's right.
And we'll be back with a new interviewee, a new randomiser, a new FAB Fact, and new other stuff.
But
next
same old
time.
podcast.
Same old podcast.
Yeah, great. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's get started. Let's go.
Spectrum is green.
What's the matter?
I think we're going to have to drop the season 2, season 3 thing.
I like it.
It's going to get confusing.
Is it?
For me.
Do you think people won't listen? If they know this is season 2, they'll think, do I have to listen to season 1 to understand
exactly.
what's
I
happening
can't get into
2?
season 2 because I don't know the characters.
That's
I
right.
just don't really
Do you know, I
care.
wanted to watch it, but by the time I'd heard about it, it was season 2, and I didn't know. And then I realised that season 1 was 270 podcasts long.
You see? You might have actually killed this podcast with your stupid season 2 idea.
I didn't think about that. That is a cliffhanger. God, I hope it's resolved next week.
Have to wait and see.
That was an Anderson Entertainment production.